Well, all that fun from winning an 18-inning ball game, it's kind of out the door now. It's kind of out the window. Dodgers lose the series. The World Series is tied up 2 games apiece. The Toronto Blue Jays are good. The Dodgers looked very lethargic. You're tired. I'm tired. They're tired. Let's talk about it here on All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, and this, Jeff, this is a meh-free show because I'm too tired to party. The Dodgers look too tired to party as well.
A little too much meh, if you ask me.
More meh than meh. Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, that's a good. If people were really in on it, that would be a good title of the show, guys. All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts. That's why you see both of those logos on the screen and the 2 names you see on the screen: Clint, Pasillas, Jeff Snider. We cover the Dodgers here on this All Dodgers YouTube channel and on the All Dodgers podcast. Like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. It helps us out a lot. It doesn't really help us feel better about this game where early on it just felt like there were obvious signs of a team that played nearly 7 hours of baseball the night before.
Yeah, it was. They were tired. I don't know. Like, the Blue Jays played the same amount, although Derek Jeter did mention on the postgame show after Monday night's game that the Blue Jays had a little bit of advantage in that John Snider had pulled a bunch of guys mid-game, and so fair. A lot of their stars, Alejandro Kirk, didn't catch 2 games yesterday. He only caught 1 game. And Bo Bichette obviously didn't play the whole game. Addison Barger came out of the game early. Whoever else or somebody else came out of the game early. And so they were a little more rested. But honestly, this was, the only place where I could really point to rest might be Ohtani, that he maybe ran out of gas a little bit there in the 7th inning. I've seen people saying that they should have pulled him after 6 innings. I'm not sure what about this Dodgers bullpen, especially after the 18-inning game, made you think, hey, let's get more of that bullpen. But, Ohtani seemed to run out of gas, which probably was related to the 18-inning game, at least to some degree. But also, sometimes you just have a bad game. And, a lot of what we saw, I don't know how much you can chalk up, because it's not like Mookie Betts has been killing it before today. It's not like Andy Pasillas has been killing it before today. And even yesterday, like, it took them 18 innings. It took them 11 innings to score that last run. And so if you look at it that way, the Dodgers have scored 3 runs in the last 20 innings now. Some of it might be tiredness, but some of it might just be that they are struggling offensively right now, and they definitely need to wake that up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they started the postseason obviously pretty hot offensively. Things have slid since playing lesser teams like 2 games against the Reds, which was a nice stat patter. I don't even remember the NLDS. Was it the Phillies? It's like 40 years ago at this point. They put some points on the board in that series. But yeah, NLCS. Since that NLCS, I talked about it a minute ago on Dodgers territory. Mookie's been pretty much MIA in the lineup. Thankfully, it hasn't affected his defense at all. He's played a tremendous defensive shortstop. But you're not getting the big hits from either your stars, and you're also not getting the big hits from the guys somewhere along the way that are in this lineup to help. Your Max Muncy's not getting as many big knocks. Tommy Edman not really doing a whole lot. Will Smith has had his moments in the sun, but not as consistent. Even if the OPS is good and all that, I would say less so him and more so your Tommy Edmonds. Obviously Andy Pasillas, but your Edmonds and your Muncy, I need to see more out of those dudes. Let's see. OPS-wise, Dodgers are down to 746 as a team now, which, again, on paper doesn't sound bad. But, if I were to, do it over, let's see, over the last 7 days, it's 692. They are worse, but Jays are only a little bit less bad than them at 698 as a team, but it's not all there. I don't know. It feels like there are problems. Obviously, we knew heading into this postseason, bullpen was going to be a problem, but the offense, which is the bigger problem for this team?
Yeah, and right now it is the offense, because at least with the bullpen, you have the chance that the starting pitching will be able to mitigate that somewhat. The
Yeah.
offense, though, needs to be that other mitigating factor to overcome the lack of bullpen. And so far it hasn't been. I do feel more optimistic about Mookie Betts than I had been because his last two at bats today, he had a hard line drive right at Ernie Clement, and then he had a line drive base hit to left. And as you know, if you watch this show, my favorite version of Mookie Betts is the one that's hitting line drives to left field.
Yeah.
My least favorite, like everybody else's, is the one that's hitting pop-ups to second base and right field, which is what we've been seeing a lot of lately. But those last two at-bats today, it's only two at-bats. I don't know if that means something has clicked, but if if that's the case, if Mookie starts hitting, that'll be huge because, you need Mookie there at the top of the lineup doing something. You mentioned Muncy. He did have that nice line drive double in the ninth inning today against Louis Varland's a good pitcher. Yeah. And so it's not like it was garbage time against a position player. It was a good hit off a good pitcher. Maybe that wakes something up. My concern is that I don't believe in momentum from one game to the next. And so, but this isn't quite momentum. This is, Mookie has been struggling with specific mechanics, and I don't know enough about hitting to know what those are, but if those last two at-bats could be a sign that he has figured something out. Same with Max Muncy. Yeah. So not a momentum thing, but maybe he figured something out thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with him getting closer to finding something for sure. That line drive to third was a sign of something, and then there were in between there. I think there was a kind of lazy fly ball to center field that he got just off the end of the bat, but still getting closer, and then obviously he does end up getting that base hit. But since the NLCS, my dude's hitting 147, and if the Blue Jays have made it painfully apparent to us all that they are going to pitch around and walk Shohei Ohtani and intentionally walk him and all that kind of stuff. Mookie needs to say, hold my beer. I'm not going to let you do that and capitalize. Again, it's weird because there have been big moments. You could say Freddie's not having a particularly fantastic postseason, but still, he's the guy who eventually sent me home mercifully last night after 18 innings in the reserve section in those uncomfortable seats at Dodger Stadium. Everybody's kind of done a little bit of something, and that's sort of been the thread of this postseason. They're doing just enough to win, but we haven't had that massive blowout win in at least like postseason series that matter. I don't really even consider the wild card anything. You haven't really had that big offensive explosion in any particular moments. It's always been. Dave says they're doing really good at building innings and not finishing innings, and you know what? It's in poor taste, but he also has been telling them to keep that edge all postseason, and I will walk away from that. But you need to see them finish.
You're 40 now, Clint. You need to stop being a child. Put away childish things, old man.
No.
They do need to get more hits with runners in scoring position, and that's the thing. Like I see people saying, including a certain co-host of mine who's sitting right there, like that. They playing hero ball, swinging for the fences too much. And like they had several times last night when I'm talking about the 18-inning game where they didn't need a home run. They just needed a base hit. And I don't think they were swinging for the fences. Like Alex Call comes up with a runner on third and one out and a chance to a fly ball ends the game. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to hit a fly ball and he got under it and he hit a pop-up instead. Yeah. Like I don't mind guys swinging in such a way that it might lead to a home run. I think most hitters, their best chance to get a good hit is to put their most comfortable, best swing on the ball.
Yeah,
and those swings sometimes turn into home runs and sometimes they turn into doubles. And so I don't think very many of them, I think there's maybe some exceptions, but for the most part, I don't think they're going up there trying to hit a home run most of the time. I think they're just trying to hit the ball hard. And I would like to see, I don't know if this is something about the Blue Jays that they're actually really good at, or if they've just been good at it this series. I didn't follow the Blue Jays enough to know, but we've seen Alejandro Kirk get opposite field hits. We saw Vlad Guerrero get opposite field hit. Yeah. Addison Barger get opposite field hit. Like they seem to be. I was looking at Kike today. He did end up getting a sac fly in the at bat I was thinking of, but he had a runner on third with one out or whatever. and he got the sac fly. But you look at how they're pitching him, throwing those curveballs away, and you look at the shift. The second baseman's playing like right up the middle. First baseman's holding the runner on base. As Rick Monday would say, you got a whole parking lot of space over there on the right side of the infield.
Yeah.
And he's still pulling everything. And he did eventually end up hitting a fly ball to right field. But I would like to see more of that. I don't know if it's that easy to just say, like, I know when Andy Pajes is at his best, he's hitting opposite field singles, and pulling it sometimes, but, kind of having that, use the big part of the field, whatever baseball cliche you want to use. The Blue Jays are definitely doing better at that. I'm not necessarily smart enough to know why, and if that's an approach thing or if it's just small sample size thing.
I mean, it's probably a mix of both for sure. I think there is a lot more to approach, because if you're looking, there's a reason when you're taking BP, not that I've taken a lot of BP or taken any major league BP at all, but when you're taking batting practice, you get up there, you lay down a bunt to the first base line, lay down a bunt down the third base line, you practice, a hit and run slash to the right side. You can control your bat. Now, obviously, you're not always going to get a 60-mile-an-hour lobbed fastball right at you to do whatever you want with the pitch, but you have the ability to not always go with your A swing. Yes, inherently the Dodgers win with their A swing, and we've seen them win a bunch of games in the regular season. We've seen them win World Series games with that kind of approach. But I think there are times, especially when in LA it starts to get a little colder, which is something I had talked about on Dodgers territory, and that baseball doesn't fly as much. Will Smith thought he had that baseball. He had that homer last night in the 17th, 16th inning, whenever the hell it was. He thought he had it. Steven Nelson thought he had it. The whole dugout thought he had it. But it's that time of year where the baseball doesn't fly as well at Dodger Stadium, and having that big approach doesn't play as well there. So I do think there is more of a concerted effort from the Blue Jays to try to find some grass. Put the ball on the ground. You are not seeing, they were even talking about it during the broadcast, Joe Davis and John Smoltz in particular, that there hadn't been a double play, anybody grounding into a double play since I think like the first game or something like that. And then, of course, eventually a Dodger hits into a double play. I forget who it is. I think Tommy Edman. I don't remember.
Smith.
Was it Will Smith? That's right. It was Willie. But again, start to put up the ball on the ground, make them work. It worked for them last year. Outside of, obviously Aaron Judge was a fly ball, but put the ball on the ground, good things will happen. Make the other team beat you rather than you try to beat them. And then also at the same time, don't beat yourself. But, we saw, you sent me the tweet during the Dodgers territory. Dave is planning on changing up the lineup. I think that is a good thing. I think it's not something that is changed for the sake of change. I think it's changed because it's due. What are your thoughts about all of the things that I said, and then lineup wise?
Yeah, I'd rather have line drives than ground balls. I think ground balls turn into outs 90% of the time, and line drives turn into outs 60% of the time. And so give me line drives. The problem is we're getting lazy fly balls. Find that happy medium, because line drives will sometimes turn into home runs. Ground balls never will, but they'll often turn into singles and doubles. As for the lineup, yeah, I think for better or for worse, Andy Pajes has had his chances and has not come up. I don't think Alex Call is the answer as a replacement. You were saying Hae-Sung Kim on Dodgers territory,
and I changed to Miggy Rowe. Yeah, I think it's the better play.
Yeah, I think Rojas is. He's a guy you can trust. I think probably you go there, and I think maybe that's a benefit of that 18-inning game where they end up being forced to put Tommy Edman in center field. Now they know, we can put Tommy Edman in center field. That's a possibility, and they might have to say, look, Tommy, you're having ankle surgery in the off season. We appreciate that. We'll send you flowers. go out there and it's not like they're going to have to do 2 surgeries on the ankle because you played center field for a few days. And yeah, I do think defensively it may be a little bit of a step back because Tommy's range may be a little bit limited. Obviously, his arm isn't as good as Pajez's, but
Looked pretty
ultimately,
good yesterday.
but yeah, I mean, it was accurate. But the strength. If Andy Pajez had been playing second base, it would have been those guys would have been out by even more. You're losing some arm strength, but just Andy Pajez is a black hole of offense right now. You want somebody when you got Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff, and I know a lot of people want that to change. That's not going to change. No. And so first time up, he's not going to have anybody on base. You want the possibility of him coming up with guys on base later, like we saw in the 17th inning yesterday or whatever. When he came up with the guy on first, they didn't intentionally walk him. They still intentionally walked him, but at least they had to pretend to be trying to get him out because you don't want to walk a guy into scoring position. And so Shohei needs more chances with guys on base, and you got to have somebody who can hit their batting ninth. And whether that's Rojas giving you a better chance, something, they got to make a change.
I love Miguel Rojas in that 9 hole. I think he is the type of bat and leader in that lineup that can make a change, that can kind of lead by example, even if he's not a traditional leader, being that he's not an exceptionally great player or gifted player, but he does make the most out of the talent that he has. And I think the same way you saw dudes rally around a Will Klein yesterday for being the last dude on the roster. Not that Miguel Rojas is the last dude on the roster, but they rally behind this guy. Maybe they see Miguel Rojas take some unselfish approaches and push the ball to the right side. Maybe everybody kind of follows suit and just, again, find some grass. Not everything needs to be a dinger. Ray Soto, let's get into some chats here, by the way. Ray Soto, $4.99 super chat, says offense is not capable of putting together a 3+ run inning. Too many rally killers 2 through 9. I'm going to hit the gong for the super chat. Thank you very much, Ray. And again, back to what Dave had said. They're building innings. They're not finishing innings off. Need to figure that out. They need to figure that out quick.
Yeah, they're not doing it. I disagree that they're not capable of it. They're not doing it right now. They do have the personnel that tomorrow could be a much better offensive day. Like the guys they have absolutely could have a good game tomorrow, should have a good game tomorrow. But yeah, they haven't the last several games.
Richie Flores with $4.99 super chat. Hit the gong. That's, of course, that is Richie Flores of NBC LA fame. Guys, go check out the Man Cave on NBC LA. But as long as Pajez and Mookie keep occupying space in the 9 and second hole, Ohtani will get all his cardio in by free passes. And also, Blake Trinan is a human gas can. And we could talk about the bullpen off of. I think there was another chat that I had saved that had to do with the bullpen. And yes, this is user, a lot of letters and numbers saying this loss is on Dave Roberts. Crazy putting in some gaslighting relievers. Has worse gut moves. Let Mookie pick who comes in. I completely disagree with the concept that this is on Dave, because he's going to two of the best guys he has and also the guys he has most available after burning everybody last night.
Yeah, today they were looking for availability more than ability, and the fact is, the Dodgers scored 2 runs and Shohei Ohtani allowed 4 runs. Now, only 2 of those scored while he was on the mound. He left the game with runners on second and third and no outs. Even in the best case scenario, if Bonda comes in and pitches really well, one of those guys scores. And so this game was lost because the Dodgers didn't score any runs. It was lost because Shohei Ohtani ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Because he made one bad pitch to Vlad Guerrero earlier in the game. There were a lot of reasons the Dodgers lost. Yeah, Blake Trinan didn't help the situation. I have concerns about Blake Trinan. I've had concerns about Blake Trinan for 2 years now, about his lack of swing and miss. A guy with stuff as good as even when he was at his peak, he didn't get nearly as much swing and miss as I wanted. And the problem when you don't get swing and miss is sometimes those things find grass, as my friend Clint would say. And Blake Trinan is his pitches are finding a lot of grass, and that's because he's not striking anybody out. And so, in my perfect world, we would not see Blake Treinen again in this series because I do not trust him to get the outs when he needs to. If the Dodgers get a big lead, sure, mop up duty or whatever. But I don't want to see Blake Treinen in high leverage. The problem is, you look at what they have, they might have to bring him in on high leverage again. They definitely didn't have a ton of better options today because of yesterday's 18-inning game. You look at the guys who you would have rather had on the mound, most of those guys were somewhere between unavailable and, really unavailable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the cost comes due when you try to survive an 18-inning ball game. The Dodgers won that game. I asked Alana, I already kind of know your answer because you're not a big, believer in the idea of momentum. But I don't know. I feel like you need to win the game after the 18-inning game. I just really feel like you need to do that.
I don't. I obviously would have loved to win this game because it's the difference between being tied 2-2 or up 3-1. If the Dodgers win this game, we're talking about the fact that there's no way the Dodgers are going to lose this series. Mm-hmm. Instead, now it's a best-of-3 series. And the Dodgers, but I don't think the fact that they won the 18-inning game, if anything, this is why I was excited that they won the 18-inning game, because you never know what's going to happen the next day. And imagine if they had lost that 18-inning game, then we'd be talking right now about them being down 3-1. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And instead, it's 2-2. It's a best-of-3 series now, but it's not just that I don't really believe in the idea of momentum or however you worded it. Momentum from game to game in Major League Baseball does not exist. And so the Dodgers, the things you might call momentum, if you lose a game because you're bad at baseball, you got a good chance of losing again tomorrow because you're bad at baseball. The Dodgers and Blue Jays, both teams are not bad at baseball. And so when we're talking about individual performances, if you have a bad game because you're a bad hitter right now, which might be the case with Andy Pages, he's unlikely to have a good game tomorrow, not because of momentum, but because his mechanics are all out of whack right now or whatever. Yeah. But what we know is that this Dodgers team has won 2 of the 4 games that have been played in this series. In fact, they've won, they won 2 in a row, and they could easily win 2 in a row again. The Dodgers will have the pitching advantage in the next 2 games because they have the better pitchers. It just means they got to show up, and the hitters got to show up and stay out of the bullpen as much as possible. But that, I wish momentum existed more, because then they probably would have played better today, because it would have been riding high after Freddie's home run last night, but you're only as good as momentum's only as good as next day's starting pitcher.
Yeah, and I pocketed this chat because I think this leads us nicely into some FanDuel talk. But BS Artie Basardi, however you say it, appreciate you hanging out with us in the chat, saying, Jeff, I need some optimism. This offense is making me nervous moving forward for games 5 and 6. And I think there is a reason for us to be optimistic, even though this was addressed to you. I will start us. Blake Snell has the baseball to start tomorrow's game at Dodger Stadium. He's been exceptional at Dodger Stadium. Obviously, the numbers on the road were inflated by a pretty bad start. I think it was in Milwaukee coming off the IL or whatever it is. But the odds over at FanDuel, Dodgers favored minus 205 on the money line. Toronto Blue Jays with Trey Yesavage going again. Yesavage plus 172. And you had brought up as well before we went live the overall World Series odds. Dodgers still favored, minus 190 to plus 160 for the Blue Jays. So if that's some optimism, I don't know if numbers help, but definitely the Blake Snell part of it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto are pitching the next 2 games. And then Tyler Glasnow, game 7. All 3 of those guys are going to be better than the pitcher pitching against them. Yeah. And the other bit of optimism, if you pop that chat back up, talking about the offense being bad right now.
I literally just got rid of it. Oh, sorry. I got you. Luckily, I remembered the name.
This offense is making me nervous moving forward for games 5 and 6. Here's my optimism there. If we assume the Red Series doesn't count, which I disagree with that, but for playing devil's advocate, I'll say, okay, we'll disregard the Red Series where the Dodgers did actually score a bunch of runs off a good pitching team. But since then, The Dodgers are 9-3, despite the fact that they haven't hit. And so that's your optimism right there. That this Dodgers team doesn't need to score 8 runs a game to win. They need to score more than 2, like they scored today. They need to obviously have the starting pitching pitch well, but this Dodgers team doesn't need to be dominant offensively to win games. And we've seen that over the last 2.5 series, and we will continue to see that over the next 2 days or 3 days, 2 games, I believe. And I think the offense will play better, but they don't need to play a ton better. They don't need to carry the team because the starting pitching is built to carry this team.
Yeah, and where are we at? I had this chat here from Miss Blue Maud 6460 said Blake Snell. What if he's a dud again? I cannot. And I mean, I could definitely envision a world because I have a pretty good imagination. I just don't see a world though, a reality where Blake Snell is a dud. I think he is as locked in as he's going to be. He had his regular kind of routine between starts as opposed to, what was it, like 10, 12, not that many days off, but a fair amount of days off between his starts. He did his homework, and the biggest problem was command. It's not necessarily that he got beat. It's that he beat himself by not being able to spot his fastball, thus nothing else was working off of it. So if we're keeping with the thread of positivity and optimism, I don't think Snell is going to throw up a stinker. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Obviously it could happen, but I don't think Blake Snell struggled in game 1 because he's bad. I think he struggled in game 1 because he didn't have command of his fastball. Yep. And his changeup plays off the fastball. I expect a very good performance from Blake Snell tomorrow. And it's hard for me to picture Snell being bad tomorrow.
Ryan was asking if it goes, saying if it goes game 7, are we confident with Tyler Glasnow? We should address this at a different time. We don't need to talk about game 7 yet. Let's get through, at least get through game 5. Despite my love-hate relationship with Glasnow, yes, I have confidence in him because he is a good pitcher, but we don't need to dive too much more into it than that. How about we do this real quick? We got more super chats. We got more things we're going to talk about. But first, I do need to tell folks about Delete Me because Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers, they make a profit off of you. They make a profit off of your data. They make a profit off of your family's data. To them, your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. That could lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, but now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. You see it there on the screen. If you have been the victim of identity theft, harassment, or if you know somebody who was, you know the challenges of and the struggle of trying to get your life and your information back and secure. Why not do your best to help not get your information out into the world by checking out Delete Me and saving 20% by going to joindeleteme.com/hit. Using that promo code HIT at the checkout there, you can take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up at Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/hit. Use that promo code HIT. You save 20% on your plan. It's super cool. You're supporting the show as well. What more do you need to hear? Go to joindeleteme.com/hit. Use promo code HIT at checkout and save. Ding. That's all I got.
That was good,
guys. Let's turn the pie heads here. Well, first we got $1.99 from Noah, who said, "Hey everyone, Clint, Jeff, say hi to my friend Jacob. Do you take commands for $1.99, Jeff?
Not for $1.99, no.
I will.
Sorry,
hi,
Jacob. Say hi to yourself, bro."
That was my rating. I'll give you that one. Let's see what we got here. MH Dodger for Life in the chat here as well. Appreciate you, MH Dodger for Life. Says, Clint, it's tough. Roberts and Dodgers have unorthodox approaches. Choosing games not to be all in and other ones to be all in, and other games, just like last season, it worked out with the World Series win. Be universal with hitting, not just long ball. There's a lot of things going on there. I don't subscribe to the idea of unorthodox approach. I don't think they choose games to be invested in versus, you know what? Maybe I backtrack on that slightly because there was a narrative running through the clubhouse late in the season, as you know, Jeff, of the team kind of making it seem like, maybe, you don't always have the same focus over 162 games. I don't necessarily know that is directly not being all in, but maybe they're not all the way in.
I think that concept can apply in the regular season. And I think last year in the postseason, they, out of necessity, knowing what personnel they had to bail on some games early to give themselves the best chance to win, and it worked. I haven't seen anything like that in this game, in this postseason. Even the one against the Phillies, the people thought it was a punt game. Turns out Tanner Scott was unavailable. We found out after the fact,
Yeah.
In this game, or in this series, when they lost game one, and Emmett Sheehan was bad and Anthony Bonda was worse, but it's not like that was a punt by bringing them in. That was, it was a rough. Blake Snell put them in a rough situation. We talked about it, who they had warming up at the time. They maybe, if they had known that Snell wasn't going to get any outs and was just going to load the bases, maybe they go with somebody different in that spot. But Emmett Sheehan was who they had warm. But none of that was punting. I haven't seen anything in this postseason of them saying, "Oh, this game doesn't matter. We'll get the next one." That's not what we saw today. We saw them playing poorly today, but not because they didn't want to win.
Yeah, I agree. And Nicholas, I had starred this one as well because I wanted to make sure I brought this up. Nicholas saying punting games in the World Series is unacceptable. This was not a punt. This was just Blake Trinan has been bad, definitely for a majority of the season, and he has not been good during this postseason. And Anthony Bonda is not Alex Vesia. That's just a reality.
The issue in this game was that Bonda came in and gave up an RBI hit to a bad left-handed hitter. Mm-hmm. You come in to face whoever that guy is, Jimenez, Andres Jimenez, is that his name?
Yeah.
There's so many Jimenez's. Andres Jimenez is a bad hitter, and he's left-handed. Anthony Bonda, not good against righties, good against lefties. Anthony Bonda's job is to get Andres Jimenez out. Instead, he gave up an RBI hit. And then you get a little bit of bad luck, on different things. But, and then Blake Trinan came in and said, "Hey, can I give up some hits?" Sure. Okay.
Is there anywhere I could put this gas can?
Yeah. But as soon as Anthony Bonda gave up the hit to Andres Jimenez, suddenly, when he comes in, you're thinking, okay, if we can hold them to one run here, it's 2-1 right now. If we can get out of this inning down 3-1, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
First step to doing that is Anthony Bonda getting Andres Jimenez out. Because then you've got your 9-hitter, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who doesn't have a hit in this postseason. It's like, okay, if you get that first out, then you got a chance. And then maybe you get greedy and think about getting out of there. If you get Jimenez out, maybe you think about getting out of there with no runs allowed, mm-hmm. But you got to get that first out. And instead, he didn't, which is the same thing we saw in game one. When Sheehan came in, it's like, okay, it's bases loaded, nobody out. We got to get out of here 1, maybe 2 runs, which means you got to, give up a sac fly, get 1 out. If you can get 1 strikeout, maybe we hold them to 2. Instead, the Dodgers gave up 9 runs that inning. Yeah. That was the issue. Today it was, instead of getting out of there with 1 run allowed, it was 4 runs. They let these things snowball, not because of Dave Roberts, but because the pitchers who they had available didn't do their jobs.
Just it's not a good plan to for those guys to go in. Dave Roberts really should have told them, no, you should do the thing where you don't let them hit the ball.
The problem is
fire Dave Roberts.
His sign for allow runs is this tapping the head twice. His sign for don't allow runs is tapping the head 3 times. I think they're too similar, and guys are getting confused.
You tapping your head there alerts me to the fact of your face. And sorry about that for one.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. That's just sorry about that, everybody. Please don't unsubscribe. But hey, you did a post game show this morning, without a hat, and here you are without a hat again. Did you know the Dodgers win when you're wearing a hat?
Yeah, maybe I'll definitely have a hat on tomorrow. I don't know where I think it's in my car. And
you didn't bring your bag of hat when you came back to California?
I brought 2 Dodger hats with me. I think they're both in my car, and
along with your all Dodger shirt from Richie.
I think I took that out of my trunk.
Oh,
I think that's inside my house now.
He's ready to wear it for the Dodgers Game 6 win back in Toronto.
If my picture was on it, I'd already be wearing it, but it's just your ugly mug.
I do need to eventually take some time to do that. We do have a Jeff graphic coming soon. Shout out my buddy Cooper Neal, who's done pretty much all the graphics on here. I also want to address something real quick. Our friend Diane, who is one of the mods in the chat, we have a bunch of great mods who help keep this place organized. With the idea of keep the chat clean, we don't care if people curse in the chat. I want people to understand that. You could say whatever the F you want in the chat. We're not going to display it. Ideally, if you're going to drop an F-bomb or something like that, at least have it be a meaningful and useful F-bomb. But people, you are free to say what you want in the chat and mods. This is me talking to you guys. Don't kick them out for unless they're being absurdly bad trolls or just being mean and rude. Like, we don't want dicks in the chat. People are welcome to be pricks. That is fine. It's baseball, it's sports, that's cool with it. But I guess we might have some trolls in the chat. Beverly's saying, don't you guys have your own live streams? No, bring them in. We want the clicks.
Troll clicks count the same, if they want to give us their algorithm, that's great. Maybe the Blue Jays don't have any podcasts. I don't know.
Well, maybe not. I don't think they get the internet there in Canada, eh? But the point is, we appreciate the mods for always looking out for us. But it's okay to have some colorful discourse in the chat. We just are not going to say it on the show. And again, if there's a chat that has foul words that don't mesh with what we want to display, we won't show them. But people are welcome to have a chat. Hashtag engagement, baby. Let's see what else I had here. There's a lot more words from MH Dodger for Life for 999 Super Chat. Thank you very much. It's a magical season again. Freddie walk-off, Ohtani season stats, Yamamoto complete games, Kersh's last year. What's missing is the spark from the bats. But ironically, Dodgers seem confident, not worried. Hey, it turns out when you read it, you could figure out what's going on there because it seemed like a bunch of words just when I was looking at it in my peripheral.
That's how sentences are made up. It's words put together.
Fake news. Get out of here with that fake English degree. It's not even on your wall there where you're at.
I wrote a book, and one of the chapters is all about how fun it is to diagram sentences. Like that's how much I like.
So did you ever get
put together in sentences?
Did you ever get annoyed when I would at times change your sentence structure at Dodgers Nation? Very rarely.
Yeah, once I discovered that
you can go
I
back
could publish articles without your approval. I didn't worry too much about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when I turned that on. That made my life a lot easier for a while. But anyways, you should have kept doing 5,000 articles a day. What's wrong with you? How come you only did 499,999 that one time? Fired. Anyways, but we digress. Super chat 499 from ADK in the chat. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And yesterday, this makes Klein's Game 3 performance that much more important because it kept Yoshinobu Yamamoto from having to go out there. As for the offense, meh, indeed. That is huge because if we're, again, trying to turn the page and flip to being positive about what is ahead for us, it is Blake Snell on the mound, and it is Yoshinobu Yamamoto to start a game again at Rogers Center, Game 6. And the fact that he didn't have to pitch and wasn't exposed again to Toronto, I mean, that dude is locked. He is locked in right now. Plus, the rest of the bullpen should, knock on desk, be healthier and rested up for that game. So if we're looking for positives, it's those two dudes and the fact that Yama didn't need to pitch a 19th inning last night. Dodgers are in an okay spot, even if the offense is still arguably the biggest issue at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. They got the pitching, and like I said earlier, they have the personnel for the offense to play better. I saw a chat just now saying that all year long it's just been Ohtani and nobody else helps, and that's kind of crazy to me. Mm-hmm. Shohei Ohtani scored 91 runs this year that didn't come on his own home runs, which means by definition other people are knocking him in. You look at up and down the lineup, the Dodgers, they scored a ton of runs this year, and they were driven in by a ton of different guys. They were scored by a ton of different guys. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani is the big star of this team, but they have the personnel, and they showed that this year. We absolutely do need Mookie Betts to make it hurt when they put Shohei Ohtani on base.
And that's
Freddie Freeman for that matter, and Will
definitely
Smith.
And generally, that's the vibes in the clubhouse appear to be just moving forward. The Toronto Blue Jays are a good ball club. Turn the page, focus on the next game. You know, they seem to have the right mindset, or at least they're saying all the right things. I do think, the Dodgers are in a pretty good spot here, all things considered. Today sucked. You want to win that game, but at least it wasn't. I guess I think I'd rather lose like this than a heartbreaker in the ninth inning, or after 18 innings lose that ball game. Dodgers are a good team. Toronto Blue Jays also a good team. There's a reason they're both playing in the last series of the year. That's simple as that.
Tommy Lasorda said the best thing you could do is win the World Series, and the second best thing you could do is lose the World Series. One of these teams is going to do the best thing. The other one's going to do the second best thing. Both of these teams have had very good seasons that they're going to be proud of. Obviously, for different reasons, the teams will be disappointed if they end up doing the second best thing. Mm-hmm. But this is two good teams, and I absolutely still believe the Dodgers are the better team. But as I've said many times, you got to show it on the field. You don't play on paper. You got to show it on the field, and the Dodgers have done that in 2 of the 4 games, and they have not done it in the other 4 games. And now it's a best-of-3 series, and I've said before, the shorter the series, the more important it is to win Game 1. Tomorrow is as close to a must-win as you can have in a not actual mathematical must-win game. The Dodgers are heading back to Toronto. They need to win tomorrow, so that they just need to win 1 out of the 2 in Toronto. And again, that you win tomorrow, and then you could get greedy and win it in 6. And everybody will look back. Like, you think about, 2020. Do you remember in 2020 when the Dodgers lost Game 4 in heartbreaking fashion? Yeah. To even the series at 2-2. And people, how are we going to win with Kenley Jansen being the worst player in the world, and with, Cody Bellinger can't hit, and, this and that and whatever. And what happened? Dodgers won the next 2 games. And you think back now, nobody thinks about the 2020 World Series as being stressful. The NLCS was the stressful series that year. The World Series, even though it was tied 2-2, just like this one. If the Dodgers win the next 2 games, people will memory hole this and not even remember how doomy they were right now at this very moment, October 28th, 2025 at 9:36 p.m. Pacific. People are going to forget how they felt right now if the Dodgers win the next 2 games, because it'll look like, Dodgers in 6, no problem. Yeah, the Blue Jays are a good team. Yeah, they won a couple games, but the Dodgers were the better team. And last year after the Dodgers lost Game 4, people were dooming then.
Oh yeah,
because that was a punt game, and that one actually was a punt game. And that's the other thing, when whoever it was earlier said punting a game in the World Series is unacceptable. I disagree. It helped the Dodgers win the World Series last year, because once they were down in Game 4, they said, okay, hey, Brent Honeywell, go be terrible for a while. And then they won the series the next day. Nobody remembers that, but there were a lot of people talking about memento. Oh, great. Aaron Judge's bat woke up. Now the Yankees are going to win the next 3 games. We're going to lose this series. And it didn't happen. Not that it couldn't have happened, but it didn't happen. Yeah. And so right now, it's 2-2. The Dodgers have won the same number of games as the Blue Jays in this series. Blue Jays fans are happier right now because they won the game that just happened. But they both won the same number of games in the series. Now it's who can win 2 out of the next 3. And I like the Dodgers' chances for a lot of reasons.
I tell people, say it time and time again throughout over the course of a season, where people are like, this team is terrible. They're never going to make it to the postseason. They're never going to win a World Series. This is just part of the story. Jeff writes books, apparently. He knows all the best words. And I don't think he writes short-form novels or long-form novels, and he definitely doesn't write.
I wrote 1 book about writing. That's all. I do have another book in my mind, though.
Is it young adult, like romance? Is it a sequel to Twilight?
No, I do know Stephanie Meyer. Did you know that?
Oh, look at you.
I'm friends with Stephanie Meyer, so yeah.
I'd be more excited if you're friends with Oscar Meyer. Hot dogs.
Anyways, 'cause you're a wiener?
Yes. I am just wearing underwear, if it helps anybody right now. I never put pants back on after I got home from work. And that's this wiener talk right here. But People read novels, they read books. Apparently, I don't know how to read, but they read them because at some point in that book, it's not all perfect and rosy and sunshine. There's strife, there's battle, there's things that go wrong for your protagonist. Right now,
Big word, bro.
this is part of it, and the Dodgers will defeat the antagonist. I'm not going to keep with that thread going, but
Yeah.
Dodgers are going to beat them. I feel confident about it. Just can't. This can't go 7. I don't want.
They're going to take down Voldemort. They're going to beat the Mother Brain. They're going to throw the ring into the fires of Mordor.
Wait.
Whatever.
Your Mother Brain. What is your Mother Brain?
What?
Because to me, that's Metroid. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just went from books to video games for a second. So
All right.
my dad, anytime anybody's playing a video game, my dad says, "Have you beat the Mother Brain yet?" So it's just
That's pretty good.
yeah.
We
So
should get him
anyway,
on the show.
but yeah, baseball is not storybook. And last year, if you watch the Apple TV documentary about last year's World Series, it feels storybook in a lot of ways. And there were several things last year that if you were writing a movie and you wrote what happened last year, that people would come back and say, okay, that's not really realistic. Let's go with Freeman doing what he did in the postseason last year, especially with Apple TV already having a camera crew with his family. It's like, it seems like it was planned and nobody would believe it except for the fact that it actually happened in actual real life. And so, yeah, our protagonists are facing adversity. And, just like when Harry Potter almost, I don't know, Professor Quirrell or something, Tom Riddle, I don't know where this is going, except that Lucius Malfoy had cool hair. I think that's the point I was trying to get at with that sentence.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I think. I don't know. I don't remember those movies. Now they're movies to me.
Did you know they were books?
Fake news. I'll leave everybody with this one. Matens 97 says, I smell a Snell redemption. Nando 390 says, lose tomorrow and it's over. And Diane says, 100% it is a must win tomorrow. Win at home. They cannot take 2 games in Los Angeles. Hopefully the boys find some grass, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on this Game 4 post-game edition of
really quick pop up
Dodgers.
Bruce Davis's chat.
Which one?
About Fangraphs. What does Fangraphs say about the Dodgers?
Oh, Fangraphs.
Anyway, so Fangraphs right now has the Dodgers at 61.2% chance to win the World Series. And that's because it's tied right now, and the Dodgers are the better team. That's why Fangraphs thinks the Dodgers are going to win. It's the same reason I think they're going to win. And one thing we've learned over the last 13 years is that being the better team doesn't always mean that you win in the postseason, but sometimes it does, and that's what I'm counting on for the next 3 games.
And we need it to does tomorrow because I'll be there.
Yep.
I will be there, and I'm looking forward to that. I was looking forward to watching them clinch at home, but that is now not going to happen, which is sad. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tubing in to this edition of the show. If you liked what you heard, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. We are trying to get to, what are we at? 21,000, 25,000, 4 million subscribers. You guys are the only ones who can help us do that. Share the channel with your friends, your family. If you're looking to have more conversation through the rest of this World Series, check out our Discord, which you can get access to by signing up for Patreon. Patreon.com/RealFRG, or click the join button here on YouTube, or there's links in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this. Click those. It's $5 a month to support the show, support Jeff and I directly, and independent Dodgers coverage here online. And also you get access to the Discord, where there's a whole bunch of fellow doomers and realists and etc. People, friends, Dodger fans, community people. Check it out. Thank you to Bleav for having us on the network. Thank you to what do they call FanDuel for presenting the show. My brain is fried. I'm on a few amount of hours of sleep, and I think it's time to go.
Nailed it.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.